So guys, I watched The Green Mile in 2023 for the first time. So you guys know I bought the 4K Blu-ray of The Green Mile on Black Friday for 10 bucks, and I finally decided 24 years later to finally watch this film in January. Let me just say something. I usually don't do like retro film videos, right, or film analysis videos unless the film didn't just entertain me but impacted me in a certain way, and that's what this film did. This film's got a 3 hour and 8 minute runtime. Like I said, it came out in 1999, but the 3 hour and 8 minute runtime, I did not feel it at all when I was watching it. But guys, let's just say it, the film is phenomenal. It really is. Let's talk like more on technicality first. The film was shot on film, so the 4K Blu-ray transfer of it was beautiful, and it looks beautiful as well. It's got a great score, scored by Thomas Newman, who also scored one of my other all-time favorite films, The Shawshank Redemption. And the film, like I said, the visuals of the film as well, the little grit of it in the Green Mile itself, it looks awesome. It really does. And the cast, you got Tom Hanks, you got the late Michael Clarke Duncan as well. The whole cast is phenomenal. They really are. Sam Rockwell, I didn't even expect to see Sam Rockwell in this film, but yeah, he's in it and he plays Wild Bill. But I feel like this was a really good story adaptation from Stephen King. But let's summarize parts of the film. Like, obviously, we can go through this whole film here in this video and sit here for hours on end. At least I can. There's so many things that I want to talk about. But I'm summarizing down to my favorite parts of the film, the reasoning, the themes behind this film that were just completely beautiful. And I'll admit right now, get it right out there, guys, from watching this film, I laughed, I cried a lot. It's a really good film, but it's a wonderful film packed with heart and emotion, and I just did not expect that going into a film like this. But The Green Mile is a place where people are sent for death row. They have been sentenced to the death penalty, and they live their last days here. We meet all sorts of characters and people in this death row. We meet all the prison guards, and we'll see what their story is about being on here. You notice that most of the guards, except for this one guy who's a fucking dick, most of the guards there are really nice to the prisoners there because they know it's their last days, and I found that very unique. We meet a bunch of ugly people that are in these cells. Wild Bill, I forgot the other character's name in there too as well. Two more, and then we finally meet John Coffey, who is brought into his cell by Paul Edgecomb, something like that, Tom Hanks' character. And John Coffey, obviously we know, is played by the late Michael Clarke Duncan, but he is convicted of murdering these two little girls, but later on down the line we find out that he is basically innocent. And we see a flashback in the beginning of the film of him holding the two girls crying that I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop it. We didn't know what that meant. We interpreted that he killed them, but it means something completely different when we find out in the third act of the film, basically. We also learn through this whole being in this one location, we learn about John's special powers that he has, whether he's an angel, whatever you guys want to interpret it as, of healing people. And we see John be able to heal a mouse that was stepped on, which was, I forgot what the mouse is called, Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Jenga, I forgot, something like that. Mouse was cute, not gonna lie, but he heals this mouse. He heals Paul's bladder infection. He also heals the warden's wife from a tumor that's in the back of her head. So we see that he's got these special powers, and then we go through the guards saying to each other, Paul and his close guard friend, saying that there's no way that this guy committed the murder. And that's where you can tell that this guy is really nice, and he's very tall, and he's very buff too. So like from a physical appearance, you would think that, oh, this guy killed these two girls from how buff and how tall he is. But from how nice he is, his character, you don't really see that, and it never comes off as that. And that's what I thought was really unique. Now, we meet Wild Bill, played by Sam Rockwell, which I have to say, his character is fucking horrible. Like, he's an asshole, but Sam Rockwell did a great job with the character. But we later find out that he was the true guy that killed the two little girls. He was working on the farm with their father, and he ended up sneaking in the middle of the night and basically killing them. And we find that out through a vision from John's eyes, which I thought was really unique. We later find out that John basically, wouldn't say possesses, but yeah, we'll say possesses the one asshole guard in in the Green Mile to shoot and kill Wild Bill. And then later on, that guard gets sent to an asylum because he is just not himself ever from that, which I thought was pretty, yeah, fuck you, fuck them too. They were two horrible people, like John said. But from watching this film and seeing these two characters of Paul and John Coffey relate to one another, and how I don't even like how their connection to each other is, it's very, very powerful. And to the end of the film, we'll skip towards the ending of the film, that with John end up wanting to die from carrying the burden of healing people, but also having these powers and seeing how cruel the world is every day. And that sequence hit me the most and made me like literally almost break down and cry, well, basically cry, because everything he's saying still relates to the world today. But another thing that you look at, though, from the lines of dialogue from Paul saying to him, like, I don't want to kill you, and that I don't want to face God, and he asked me why I killed one of his angels. And I forgot the line that that John said, but that line literally made me tear right the fuck up. I forgot what it was. It's a really, if you guys know what I'm talking about, skip forward to that sequence. But that whole sequence was very, very emotional, because I didn't want John to die, but he wanted to die because he wanted to not deal with the pain of this world anymore. And he wanted to stop traveling, and he saw how cruel the world was, and he loved helping people. I also thought it was unique, though, too, like every time he healed someone, he basically threw up ashes, it looked like, or if it was flies. Guys, let me know in the comments below. I thought it looks like ashes, but it also sounds like flies, but I don't know what it was, or if it's like grace or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But one of the other things that made me like tear up too is as soon as John's walking into where they hold the death penalty, he says, I feel everybody in this room hates me. And all the guards said right to him, because all the guards love him now because they know who he truly is. They all say, well, you can tell that we don't hate you, right? Because we don't. And I think he could sense that completely. One of the things that I think is kind of weird is, I mean, this film, I believe, takes place in the 1930s, but I feel like the parents of these two daughters deserve to know that it was really Wild Bill that killed these two little girls. I always thought that was kind of odd. Like, I feel like you should tell the parents the true murderer, or who was the real murderer. But since John wanted to die anyways, I think they didn't really focus on that as much as they just want to. I'd say, though, from the final third act of the film really got me crying, and that's from the first two acts, there's the laughable moments, there's funny moments, there's stuff like that, but it's very, very an emotional film that I did not expect. And that's what I love about movies, is you don't expect to cry in a movie that you just saw. You don't expect to feel certain emotions when you go into a film, and that's what's so unique, because you might get it, you might not, and that's the wild card, and that's what I love. But like I said, guys, there's so much I can go over with this film. It is just a phenomenal film. At the end of the film, we see Paul, old Paul now, who is living at age 108, and he's seen all his family and his friends, and he believes, or that he's seen them all die, but he believes that he's cursed by God because he killed one of God's angels, being John. But we also realize that the little mouse that died in the beginning, that John brought back, that basically was like a little, I guess you would say, a character on his own, who I thought was pretty badass. We see that old Paul now is taking care of him. He loves to go for walks, and he goes for walks up to the shed where he's got the little mouse. I forgot what Mr. Jenkins, something like that, who is very old now as well. But one of the things I thought that was very interesting too is that even old Paul said right out, the people that John healed, do they get an extensive amount of life? And my question is, okay, so he brought back to life the mouse, and the mouse is still living. You could tell it's really old, so it's probably getting there to the point of dying, and so is Paul. But what's weird is, what about the warden's wife? They didn't really speak on that, which that's a little nitpick about the film, but they never really spoke on that, so I wonder if she passed away already from age or whatever happened with that. But I mean, old Paul's already 108, so eventually his time will come. But I mean, it's interesting to think about, like, when he heals these people, do they get extensive amounts of life, especially the mouse? But like I said, guys, I love to talk about films that really emotionally impacted me emotionally and not just entertained me for the hell of it. And without a doubt, this film truly impacted me, which I would never expect. And like I said, that's what I really love about movies. But overall, guys, The Green Mile, watching it in 2023, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. It deserves it. It's a great film. If you guys never have seen it, if you're like the younger people like me, gotta go watch this film, at least see it once in your life. I do want to rewatch it. I got so many other movies that I still have to go through just to watch, but it was really good. I just, a great film. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. I will see you guys in the next one. I do gotta let you know though, there will be a short coming out. I'm also gonna be giving away a 4K Blu-ray digital code copy to The Green Mile. There will be a short coming out as soon as this releases, and you'll basically just be watching this film and watching this video and commenting on it, and it'll be a 48-hour giveaway. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.